The power of a story. You know, I'm a snow scribe here, Martin, Griff, Bernie Weitzel, you know, man, it's always about the story. And tonight, you're collecting so many of them. And the power of sharing a story, getting it out there. Have you heard some stories tonight that you're gonna take home? Maybe you're gonna get on the phone. Maybe you're already texting somebody and says, tomorrow we're going skiing. We are gonna go together because I gotta sit on a really long chairlift with you and tell you what happened tonight. And we're gonna also make our date to go to Stowe. Well, sharing those stories, spreading the word is spreading the love. And this next inductee, he did it for over 3 decades. And when you do the work that Harry Kaiser did, just maybe one night when the stars align, you too will be introduced in a room like this with a table of your kids and grandkids thanking you for paying it forward.
Before Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, nothing could rouse a skier into preseason excitement like the September arrival of Skiing Magazine. Across the country, hundreds of thousands of skiers soaked inspiration, turning the pages of this trusted gospel for tips on technique, travel, and gear. We have Harry Kaiser to thank for that legacy, publisher of Skiing Magazine for nearly 30 years. A tireless networker, he outlasted 5 owners, but never wavered in pushing the skiing franchise forward. He supported first-rate content, increased the magazine's readership, and drove such a robust revenue stream from advertisers that he continued to produce ever fatter issues. With editors like Doug Pfeiffer and Al Greenberg, and contributors ranging from Billy Kidd to Gordon Lipe, the magazine struck a balance between authority and irreverence, while also setting the early standard for gear testing and safety issues. Born on Long Island, he wasn't introduced to skiing until he was 14, through the family of his wife-to-be, Carolyn. Starting out on rope tows in the Berkshires, he eventually moved up to tackle the slopes of Stowe and Sugarbush. After graduating from Fordham University and a stint in the Army, he entered the publishing world as a management trainee, sweeping floors, writing copy, and answering the phones. There, he came under the wing of 10th Mountain veteran and ski publisher Nick Hawk. He learned quickly, and by 1969, Harry had made a name as publisher of Skiing Magazine. Resorts and manufacturers depended on Harry's relationships and respect in corporate America to bring on partnerships. With Pfeiffer driving the editorial coverage, Harry made bold moves and positioned the magazine at the forefront of the American-born renegade sport of freestyle. Recruiting sponsors to back the Pro Freestyle Tour, he helped launch the careers of thousands of athletes, including legends Wayne Wong, John Clendenin, Genya Fuller, and Bob Salerno. Harry and Carolyn also knew how to throw a party. You knew you'd arrived when you were invited to skiing's penthouse luncheon during the annual SIA show in Las Vegas, where the list could include anyone from a president to a princess named Peekaboo. The Kaisers also used their network know-how to help raise over $1 million for the U.S. ski team by securing sponsors and hosting the annual ball in New York City. This powerhouse of publishing and fundraising retired in 1996, making him the longest reigning publisher of any publication in North America. The Kaisers moved to Florida, but Harry still makes trips to the mountains for blue sky ski days in Park City with his daughter Cindy, one of his 5 children. Since he was 26, Harry has worked to ensure the stories of our sport would be shared. Now it's our turn to promise his story will also be included among the ranks of our snow sports greatest as an honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our newest honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, Harry Kaiser.
Harry's being escorted by Andy Klurman, and the medal being awarded by Billy Kidd. Wow, and here's John Clendenin back on the stage. Oh, Harry. And we have quite a party here. I am so grateful that Harry met Carolyn. Thanks for teaching him how to ski, girl. Hang on, guys. Here we go. Harry Kaiser, having been elected by representation of the 9 million skiers and snowboarders in America, We hereby bestow upon you in Aspen, Colorado, our country's highest snow sport award, the Medal of Honor, and confer upon you from this day forward, April 9th, 2016, induction into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, where your accomplishments will forever be remembered.
I don't think that people realize that the skiing market and the skiing industry was my whole life. And so I'm very honored and humbled to accept this award this evening. What I want to thank more than anybody is my wife, who stood behind me through all of the travels and all the good times and the tough times, and my 5 children who are here with me tonight, which is Catherine and Lori and Cindy and Carolyn, and also my oldest son, Hank. Now, what you don't realize is that I've been in the ski industry a long, long time. When the people are up here talking, I realize that, boy, I'm getting up there in age. I started skiing in 1948, and that's when I just graduated from high school. And from 1948, I learned on the original Northland skis. They were wooden at that time with no edges at all. You had rope toes when you had grippers, and that's how you got up. And there was small areas like Bosque and Jiminy Peak, and we went up there every weekend. So when I came, then I went into the service, and when I graduated, after I graduated, I went right into the service. And in the service, we were going to Korea, but we stopped off in a place called St. Louis. And St. Louis was the repo depot for everybody who was going over to Korea. Well, after taking all my training at Aberdeen Proving Grounds, becoming a weapons expert, what happened was the war ended. So they didn't know what to do with us. So there again, what I did, I spent an awful lot of time in Snoqualmie Mountains and learned how to ski a little better. I will never be as good a skier as the 2 gentlemen that ushered me up here. And they represent the 2 sides of my life. When I came out of the service, I had a wife and a 4-day-old baby and no job. And you want to talk about pressure, that's when you know that everybody depends upon you, and I was very fortunate. Some people were looking for somebody who could ski, and at that time, there were very few people out there who really skied and enjoyed it. So what I did is I interviewed, and there was a gentleman called Nick Hock who brought me into Sports Age and then on to Ski Magazine. And at Ski, I was there until, I'd say, 1964, when the little people who just bought Skiing Magazine, they were very interested in somebody who could ski and also who could learn more about how to make the industry grow. So what we did is we actually started things that were new, and certain things like selling event marketing, which we didn't know what event marketing was even all about at that time, but we sold different sponsors into their niche in life. So with that, the U.S. ski team was very poor in those days. And I remember one phone call that I received when the ski team was in Europe, and they didn't have enough money to get back. So I had to go into the owners at that time was Ziff Davis and Bill Ziff and Brad Briggs, and I said, the ski team needs money, and they need $50,000 wired to them in Europe, and this is how everything started. So after that, we were small, we were growing, we tried to do things the right way, and Bill Ziff was a kind of a person who believed in editorial first, and editorial begets circulation, and circulation begets advertising, and that's how you make your money. So with that in mind, and in my education, we all went out and we sold not only advertising space to our big advertisers who weren't so big in those days. They were small company like you saw Claus Obermeyer before, and they all got behind the ski industry just like we did, and we really helped grow the sport. And that's why I'm so proud and so honored to be standing up here when we were all young and doing different things. Now, it wasn't all fun and games. There were times where people were trying to grow the sport, and there were these crazy kids on the mountains who were doing crazy things. And I had an editor called Doug Pfeiffer. And Doug Pfeiffer came to me and he said, you know, Harry, we got to get involved with these, as I call them. I said it to him the other night. They're kind of sort of out there. And believe it or not, they were the excitement that the sport needed at that time to grow the sport. So we tried a number of different companies, and they just wouldn't have us. So I flipped back to the ski team again, and we called on everybody, all the American companies for a big sponsor for the ski team. Well, what happened was we finally almost gave up. But what we did is go to a little company called Subaru. And Subaru, Harvey Lamb, he understood what we were trying to sell him. And he got on board with the ski team, and that's the rest is history, because Subaru and I used to drive a Brat, which was nothing but a little truck. And then after that, we went back to the same sponsors to get a little excitement going. And that's when Doug Pfeiffer came to me and said, you know, there again, you got to go back and you got to get another advertiser. So we were very fortunate that, at least I was pretty low-keyed. As you can tell by my speaking right now, I'm very dry. But we were low-keyed, and yet we got the excitement of the sport, and we went to Chevrolet, and for some reason or other, although they didn't buy the U.S. ski team, they bought these crazy kids who were up on the mountain doing hot dogging. They didn't call it freestyle in those days. But what happened overall was the excitement grew. It grew the sport. Naturally, it grew the magazine. And we were all so very happy that being on, well, we went from a small company to a larger company, and it was from Ziff Davis. They sold us to CBS, and then on to Peter Diamandis, and then on to Times Mirror. So my biggest job, and the thing I'm probably most proud of at all, is the fact that during all this time, I was able to bring along our staff. And what I want to do right now, I'm not going to bore you with any more long speeches or anything else, but I'd like to bring up Andrew Clurman, and I want to bring up all my staff that I had. They all are here at the present time. So Andrew, can you get the staff going? Okay. Hey, might forget. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, good.
Harry, can we get all the skiing alums up here? Hollis Brooks, Jim Flynn, Doug Pfeiffer, Rick Call, Barbara Alley, Mike Dolan, Al Corlius, Betsy Brower. So we have a long tradition, and where's Doug Pfeiffer? Okay. So we have a long tradition in the publishing industry when somebody retires, somebody moves on, and in this case, somebody receives a well-deserved award to present their own commemorative cover to them. So this is the candidate for this September's Skiing Magazine cover. The Nice Guys finished first edition. People who know Harry might understand some of these cover lines. Whoosie wins the downhill. Feed the beast. If you hoot with the owls, you better be ready to soar the eagles. That was the speech Harry gave us in Las Vegas every year at the SIA show. Good on the lift. Yummy ski snacks, sardines. Harry eats sardines every day, I think, from his working life. Don't ask department. Veteran sales tips. Knocking on doorbells gets you in. That's right. Yogi Berra had nothing on Harry, believe me. So Harry, on behalf of all of us, Skiing Magazine, thank you for all the wonderful things you've done, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our newest honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, the legendary Harry Kaiser. That is a fine-looking cover, Harry.
Say, there's one thing more I like to say, and that is, you know, we did our job, but what we're forgetting about is that there are people out there who are, when I heard these first few inductees and what they went through, my life was, we were on a big wave, and I retired at the top of the wave, but some of these people have shown me that it's a lot more to life than just being a good publisher. So with that in mind, I also want to thank all not only my children, my son-in-law, Tim, and everybody else who helped us along in our way. Okay? Good night, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Kaiser, honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.